when my eyes were stabbed by the flash of neon light that split the night and touched the sounds of silence. And in the naked light I saw 10,000 people, maybe more. People talking without speaking, people hearing without listening, people writing songs that voices never shared, and no one dared disturb the sounds of silence. Fool, said I, you do not know. Silence like a cancer grows. Hear my words that I might teach you. Take my arms that I might reach you. But my words like silent raindrops fell and echoed in the well of silence. And the people bowed and prayed to the neon god they made. And the sign flashed out its warning in the words that it was forming. And the sign said the words of the prophets are written on the subway walls and tenement halls, and whispered in the sound of silence.
Good morning. Welcome, dear friends. Welcome to our spiritual home, the Unitarian Universalist Church of Tarpon Springs. Our church is located here in the heart of the walkable Tarpon Springs Historic District and is known as the home of the beautiful Innes paintings. My name is Judy Pickett, and I serve as treasurer on our Board of Trustees, and I'm serving as worship associate today. We're a church of many, many welcomes, and we offer a warm welcome to all of you who have joined us. This is a liberal community for all ages, promoting spiritual growth, social justice, and the arts. As such, ours is a very active church, and everyone is invited to participate in any of our activities, whether you're a member or not. To learn more about the events, our church calendar is on our website, and you also get the newsletter weekly now, so you can find out what's going on in the world of UUCTS. Our children are with us today for the beginning of the service, and at this time we have faith formation programming available with our gifted leader, Jami, Cruz, who's sitting somewhere. There she is. Children gather for their time together with her after the story. And if you'd like more information about the programming for our children, please talk to Jami after the service. For those of you present with us in the building, we have connection cards in the pews. They look like this. If you fill them out and put them in the offering plate, we will get you into our system, and someone will contact you about what your interests may be for us. And we'd like to know you. Today, let's see. Oh, there's also a small card that looks like this. And if you have any joys or sorrows or concerns that you want to share but don't want to speak into a mic, you can write them down and put them in the offering as it goes around, and your concern will be read by me, I guess. New to me. Okay. And today, our member Barbara Rosen is doing the service, and I'm really happy to hear that. Music is provided by our music director, Bonnie Whitehurst. Bonnie will be singing throughout the service, and you're all welcome to sing along, wearing masks, to the songs and hymns. Again, welcome. We light our chalice with the words from John Donahue. A morning offering, all that is eternal to me, welcomes the wonder of this day, the field of brightness it creates, offering time for each thing to arise and illuminate. I place on the altar of dawn the quiet loyalty of breath, the tent of thought where I shelter, a wave of desire I am sure to, and all the beauty drawn to the eye.
Please join in singing hymn number 123 in the Gray Hymn Book, Spirit of Life.
Our story today, Vincent van Gogh's Cat. And for you young people in the back, this story was written and illustrated by second grade students from Indiana. Vincent van Gogh's cat stepped out of a field of sunflowers, tiptoed around a pond of water lilies, explored in an exotic jungle, leaped across a purple landscape, twirled beneath the tree of life, danced through a sea of green taffeta, sang to the melody of 3 musicians, reclined in an artist's moonlight studio, napped near a child in a blue chair, climbed a spiraling starry stair, sniffed petals of a bright red poppy, basked in the warmth of a golden glow, pondered the possibility of 9 lives. The end.
I couldn't see the pictures. I was sitting in the back. Now is the time in our service where we take our offering for the work and welfare of this church. Ours is a free faith, which must sustain itself financially. This month, the Social Justice Council is asking for donations for the National Network of Abortion Funds. That's okay. You ready?
Cool.
Teamwork. In view of the recent Supreme Court decision regarding Roe v. Wade, we have decided to designate the National Network of Abortion Funds for the July Give-A-Plate. This organization builds power with members to remove financial and logistical barriers to abortion access. The NNAF envisions a world where every reproductive decision, including abortion, takes place in thriving communities that are safe, peaceful, and affordable. They also envision a world where all people have the power and the resources to care for and affirm their bodies, identities, and health for themselves and their families in all areas of their lives. Your support is critical. Help protect access to safe legal abortion and reproductive rights. Mail checks to 57 Reed Street, Tarpon Springs, Florida 34689, indicating National Network of Abortion Funds, or NNAF, on the memo line. Select Give a Plate and indicate NNAF in the comment. Donations will be accepted through July. Thank you. The offering will now be given and received. Taken and received. One of them. The Invitation by Aurora Mountain Dreamer. It doesn't interest me what you do for a living. I want to know what you ache for, and if you dare to dream of meeting your heart's longing. It doesn't interest me how old you are. I want to know if you will risk looking like a fool for love, for your dream, for the adventure of being alive. It doesn't interest me what planets are squaring your moon. I want to know
if you have touched the center of your sorrow, if you have been opened by life's betrayals, or have become shriveled and closed from fear of further pain. I want to know if you can sit with pain, mine or your own, without moving to hide it, or fade it, or fix it. I want to know if you can be with joy, mine or your own, if you can dance with wildness and let the ecstasy fill you to the tips of your fingers and toes, without cautioning us to be careful, be realistic, to remember the limitations of being human. It doesn't interest me if the story you are telling me is true. I want to know if you can disappoint another to be true to yourself, if you can bear the accusation of betrayal and not betray your own soul, if you can be faithless and therefore trustworthy. I want to know if you can see beauty even when it's not pretty every day, if you can source your own life from its presence. I want to know if you can live with failure, yours and mine, and still stand at the edge of the lake and shout to the silver of the full moon, yes. It doesn't interest me to know where you live or how much money you have. I want to know if you can get up after the night of grief and despair, weary and bruised to the bone, and do what needs to be done to feed the children. It doesn't interest me who you know or how you came to be here. I want to know if you'll stand in the center of the fire with me and not shrink back. It doesn't interest me where or what or with whom you have studied. I want to know what sustains you from the inside when all else fails. I want to know if you can be alone with yourself and if you truly like the company you keep in the empty moments. After attending the GA conference 2 weeks ago, the speakers introduced themselves in a way both personal and who they were in name, by sight, and honoring those who lived on this land before we did. May I begin that way then? I am Barbara Rosen. I use the pronouns she and hers. I'm a short, older woman, white woman with white hair, wearing a green top with white polka dots and glasses with purple on the top. And I serve in this church on the original ancestral lands of the Tamaqua people. Good morning. Simsum is an ancient story in the Kabbalah texts. The author tries to explain creation, but more specifically, the presence of capital G-D, and explains it. Old traditional Jewish law gives God's name a high degree of respect and reverence, and it was forbidden to say it, destroy it, or erase it. Kabbalah, Jewish mysticism, tells the story about creation. The God intends to make something very finite out of the infinite. They use light as a metaphor for divine power. Simsum is the result. The God wants to create, but he wants to be found in the creations. In the circle created of no beginning or end, creation takes place. But in the process, a paradox occurs. In trying to condense it, the light implodes and spreads its sparks throughout all creation. Not a Jewish scholar, I like to see this as the spark of creativity in everything. I like to think of this as a special spark of creativity each of us has. There is a quilt I designed and made in the social hall that was returned to me when the synagogue we attended closed. The theme was Tzimtzum and features what the children of the Sunday school liked in an inner square and an outer square of the people who loved and cared for their children to surround them. Those people who stayed, their small group of members, were welcome to use our church. They met at Reed Street to hold services until their rabbi moved to her new job. During that time, they used this quilt to wrap their Torah in and kept it in a locked closet between services. So you will notice frayed edges to be honored by the quilt. When you watch young children, they're filled with wonder at everything they see, hear, touch, taste, and more. And watching them grow, I love to see how they gravitate in certain directions. My youngest grandson began playing with little cars left over from my own son. They didn't just move, but at a very early age, they could be separated in many ways and put back together by color, by size, by function, by noise, whatever it was that he chose to do with them. Curiosity was always moving. In his 20s, it evolved into numbers and the multitude of things that you could make happen with them. Where did your curiosity go? Most of us went in many directions with our interests until we somehow got the message that it must have meaning to continue with it. There was a woman in a story who began at a young age to paint. But along comes the stage where you've got to make decisions based on what others think is most important and meaningful according to their own lives. She decides there must be more than pushing paint around on a surface for her life to matter. She spends much of her life trying things but not feeling fulfilled. She continues on that path of one after the other for most of her life. Not knowing what the catalyst is, she decides to try again where she started in the beginning, and she started doing what she did when she was young with interest. And it began to dawn on her that what meant the most to her was right in front of her from the beginning. Do each of you feel like a creative person? I believe each of us has a special gift of creativity. We were born with it. Each one is different as our fingerprints. It begins with our interests very early in life. Something was always calling us. As children, we were free to explore and find joy in life around us. I'm not sure we always recognize it in ourselves. It's always more obvious to us when someone else. But then, along comes the virulent ego. The messages we receive get louder and makes us more vulnerable. If we were lucky enough to have caring, supportive people to encourage us, maybe we continued. But we began to compare ourselves with what others were doing or deciding. Did we decide we weren't doing it perfectly? That it's not worth it to continue? roadblocks we find are we trying to live up to the expectations others put in front of us? Love of it begins to fade and we move it out of our lives. It isn't about our bucket list. It's quieter, enriching to ourselves, making us mindful while we are doing it. We love to have time with it. We may not be satisfied every time we do it, but we get some insight from it and try again. Work, yes, frustrating sometimes, but it is of value to what's inside of us. Art, absolutely creative, yes. Using words to say something in a different way. Poetry, stories. In Amanda Gorman's poem, Another Nautical, she says, add ship to the end of a word and it transforms its meaning. Relation plus ship, relationships. Leader plus ship, leadership. Kin plus ship, kinship. Hard plus ship, hardship. A series of single words that bring connections to others by adding ship. Music that inspires us to make our own, to hear it or sing it. Cooking to take what we love to taste in a different direction. Using fabric and threads that tell something meaningful to us. Appreciation and love of nature that inspires us to bring more beauty in our lives. Maybe planting and caring for plants. Capturing something with our phone camera to help us remember something special. I even think that listening to the sounds of people talking and what they are saying brings us inspiration. Humor, using it to bring more meaning to what we hear and say. Animals, creating a bond for life. There are many endless ways to give meaning to life and the gift of fulfillment within ourselves. These are all the somewhat easy parts, but now let's think about it from our UU perspective. Here we are exploring life and its many directions and meanings, an open mind that we continually use is the rub. Don't we keep looking at things in more depth about more subjects? Once we are on the path, is it ever enough? We have a need to be humble enough to explore even in the creative pieces we've stepped into. Then where do we go? In my own lifetime, I could talk endlessly about my visual world, color, light. And if you're not in that world of light art, you would be bored in a few minutes and trying to find a way to run off for that root canal appointment you just remembered you needed to go to. So what do? I've been gifted to share these and many other parts of the art world here at our own church. We have bonded in a group of visual arts with several others who are members, and with another couple of friends who have found us. It's a place for us to gather and share our experiences working within the arts. A special part is the trust we've gained in sharing our struggles and our successes. Within the group, we listen to each other. Spend time listening and focusing on what the person is telling us. We ask questions because we care. Our intention is not to try to fix their difficulties. If we truly understand what they are saying, we may have shared a piece of their struggle, and we can say that. In our conversations, we might find insight about our own difficulties. We don't just focus on a product, but on the search and reflection about our process. We are genuinely happy to see each other get to a point of discovering something on the path they are on. I hope you have seen some of the art each of us has made in the last 2 exhibits we've added to the forum room. We're hoping to include other groups of people who use visual arts in our community. We humbly show what we have made on our journey and look forward to honoring other visual artists on the art wall when we can be more inviting to groups and their members. Jean Harrison Nudwar tells us something in her writings. The interdependent web of all existence, of which we are all a part, links us theologically with the earth and the skies and the seas, with all living creatures. The animal human does not stand alone and apart. The human animal does not stand alone and apart, superior to other life forms, but is interwoven organically in the larger sphere of all life. When events have surrounded us painfully the past few years that leave us feeling impotent individually, we need a place to step away to care for ourselves. Spending time with our individual creativeness takes us into a realm that continues opening us to the pieces we create, and the direction upholds us. It can keep us mindful in the time we spend nurturing this gift we have. Within our art group, we don't have to struggle alone with our difficulty. We find support and encouragement along the way. If you are on your creative journey, I hope you're able to find a group that shares your individual passion for creativity. Who knows, you would probably find that group here in our own church. A group can start small and grow. It is so worth it to take that path. But a word of caution, I'm suggesting. While you're on your journey, whether it's young or old, I advise not turning to people who tend toward negativity for your boost of self-satisfaction. It takes time to trust yourself. Be your own best friend, to reflect back to you and encourage you. After all, aren't we usually right about everything? Thank you.
Our closing hymn can be found in the Teal hymn book, and it's number 1007, 1007. There's a river flowing in my soul. There's a river flowing in my soul. There's a river flowing in my soul, and it's telling me that
I'd like to close with the words of Ralph Waldo Emerson's poem, Success. To laugh often and much, to win the respect of the intelligent people and the affection of children, to earn the appreciation of honest critics and endure the betrayal of false friends, to appreciate beauty, to find the beauty in others, to leave the world a bit better, whether by a healthy child, a garden patch, or a redeemed social condition, to know that one life has breathed easier because you lived here. That is to have succeeded.
Come with me and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Take a look and you'll see into your imagination. We'll begin with a spin, traveling in the world of our creation. What we'll see will defy explanation. If you want to view paradise, simply look around and view it. Anything you want to, do it. Want to change the world, there's nothing to it. There is no life I know to compare with our imagination. Living there, you'll be free if you truly wish to be. You will find in your mind there's a world of endless fascination. No more fun place to be than in your imagination. You can dream any dream. You can savor every situation. Life is theirs, a sensational sensation. If you want to see magic lands, close your eyes and you will see one. Want to be a dreamer? Be one. Anytime you please, and please save me one. There is no place to go to compare with your imagination. So go there to be free if you truly wish to be.
Thank you, Bonnie. That was beautiful. We hope you have found meaning in our service today. And we close with these words from John O'Donohue. May my mind come alive today to the invisible geography that invites me to new frontiers, to break the dead shell of yesterdays, to risk being disturbed and changed. May I have the courage today to live the life that I would love, to postpone my dream no longer, but do at last what I came here for, and waste my heart on fear no more. Couple of announcements to make. We'd like to advise you to continue using caution when you're outside. Wear your masks all the time. The COVID strain that's coming around now doesn't make you really that sick, but it makes you sick, and it puts others at risk. So I really thank everybody for wearing masks here. It's an act of love. Sunday, July 17th is National Hot Enough For Ya Potluck. It will be in the social hall after the service. Bring a cool dish to share. A 50-50 will be to support hospitality, and there are sign-up sheets in the kitchen. So haul on out there and sign up to what you're going to bring cool. I think I'll make cool cucumber salad. Natasha Cruz, MSW, sexual assault victim advocate, will make a presentation during the forum today in person. The forum will be held at 12 noon following the coffee service.